Thank you, Ciarán Comhairle. I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak on this bill this evening. This bill, from what I see, will provide for people with non-Irish professional qualifications which have been recognised by the Minister and by state bodies prior to the introduction of statutory registration for a health and social care professional will continue to be recognised for the purpose of the registration under the Act. To explain in layman's terms, this will allow holders of non-Irish professional qualifications to be registered and to be able to practice their professions here in Ireland. The existing legislation does not allow for the registration of non-EU persons or persons with a non-EEA qualifications, whose qualification had previously been recognised in Ireland. We have a shortage of healthcare professionals in Ireland at the moment, and this bill could help relieve this problem. I have been calling on this government over and over to take action to reduce the long waiting list, but when are they going to listen? Deputy Danny Healy-Rae and myself have taken 18 buses, 119 going in next week, to Belfast so far, where people are availing of a 15-minute cataract procedure, because these people are expected to wait up to 4 years here in the Republic on the public waiting list. I had a constituent who was in his 90s at the time and was expected to wait 4 years before he could have his cataract procedure. This man would have been going slowly blind each year, and I dread to think what would have happened if he was still waiting on this government to provide a cataract procedure for him. I have suggested many a time in this chamber that Bantry General Hospital or Mallow General Hospital could be utilised for cataract procedures, and this would go a long way to reduce waiting lists. In Belfast, the hospitals operate a weekend model where procedures such as cataracts, hips, knees, every operation that's imaginable can take place on a Saturday and a Sunday. Why can't we have a similar system here? Why is it, Minister, that we shut down, basically, in most hospitals in Ireland on 5 o'clock on Friday evening, and the real healthcare resumes again on Monday morning? We can't continue that. If we are to tackle this issue of waiting lists and people suffering and waiting for procedures to be carried out, this is an absolute joke. We know that a lot of our operating theatres, especially in our rural hospitals, are not operating at full capacity. Some of these operating theatres are only operating 2 to 3 days a week, and sometimes I'm being told this is due to staffing levels. No wonder our waiting lists are at extremely critical points in this country. I have even met with the management of Bantry General Hospital as recently as last month to put forward the suggestions of Bantry Hospital providing a service cataract procedure. And what I keep coming up against is that we don't have enough staff or facilities for these procedures in our rural hospital. That is why the sooner this bill is amended, the sooner appropriate qualified healthcare professionals can register with the registration board and practice their professions. This is very important across the health sector. I don't shy away from the fact that this is an important bill, and it is vital that we have proper regulation and that there is proper accountability. That goes without question, of course. We also need to address the fact that we have an influx of returning immigrants. I want to welcome these returning immigrants home, but I want to address the issues that they are facing in order for these people to continue in their profession. Must establish that while they were abroad, they gained a certain amount of professional experience. We know there is undue delay at the moment because these returning immigrants are told there must be a board meeting to establish their experience, etc. Having a board meeting is an inefficient system. We should look at the idea that a board could have a designated officer who operates an established criteria of the board. These would be proper professionals who understand the board's objectives and criteria and who could adjudicate on individual applicants, thus making the process quicker for returning immigrants that want to work in the medical profession. We strongly need to look at these points, as we need to encourage nurses, health professionals and social care professionals to return to Ireland. At the moment, how are we encouraging these health professionals home when they are left in limbo? We know that there are health professionals who have returned home who are left for months waiting for registration. This is unacceptable, Minister. These people returning home, and because of the delay in processing their registration, they cannot work immediately in their profession and have to resort to part-time, unskilled work. Is an appalling way to treat our health professionals in this country. Not only do our immigrants coming home from Australia and the US and England, etc., face difficulty with their professional registration. Also, they have a big problem with getting their banking, insurance and driving licence sorted. All these things become a massive issue to our immigrants returning home. Why are we making it so hard to welcome people home and get them back into their own employment, to what they've been trained for down through the years and continue, and who've been left in the country and now want to return home? We should be welcoming them with open arms instead. And I want to raise the issue, you know, and it is probably a little parochial, but it is important and it's a very valid point, and I presume it could be the same situation in a lot of other places with Bantry General Hospital. We have 2 consultants there. Their positions are not being filled. They can't get consultants. Why, I ask, and I solely believe that they're not giving the positions, they're not giving proper incentives to bring these consultants to Bantry General Hospital. And we know, and you know, Minister, the importance of Bantry General Hospital to over 84,000 people in West Cork, and to a good lot of parts of Kerry also. And it's, you know, Minister Harris was down there recently making announcements, but we can be making announcements till the cows come home. But if the consultants are there to carry out the work, there's no point in making any announcement. So in the case of Bantry General Hospital, you have to put in the foundation before we start talking about all the other things that need to be done there. And the foundation, in my view, is the consultants. And the HSE have failed, in my view, to work in relation to bringing people there, to give incentives to bring consultants there. And I've left the hospital in a situation where they have failed in the first rounds to attract the 2 consultants they require, and now put it back out to advertisement again. And is there incentives this time to bring the consultants in? If there isn't, we're back to square one again. So it's like the management are, as well, you know, and you saw it the same as myself, Minister, doing an absolutely excellent job there in Bantry General Hospital, but they need a HSE to wake up here. I still would like to address the situation where we have a 5-day week working hospital. We don't have a 7-day week, which we should have. There's a lot of people suffering. I know somebody over the weekend in West Cork that urgently needed an MRI because they were suffering some serious pains in their head. They couldn't get it. Couldn't get an MRI. That's absolutely outrageous. A young mother. And it's very, very unfair. And I think, you know, issues like that have to be tackled. We seemingly don't understand the system. I go to the north. It's sad that I have to go up to the north of Ireland to see how it works. You walk into Belfast, into Kingsbridge, and Minister, you're quite welcome to come with me sometime, and you'll see how it works. Saturday, flat out. Sunday, flat out. People are being cared for, whether they're, no matter what their situations, no matter what their ailments are, they're being cared for 7 days a week, non-stop. And that's the system we need to build in Ireland. And if we don't, we have a second-class healthcare system in this country at the moment, and it stays second-class until we tackle those issues going forward. And I certainly will be supporting this bill going forward. Thank you.